All right, chat. 5-color, bring to Niv to light, whatever you want to call it. Bring to light's a card here out of one of the Zendikar sets, I believe, that says you search your library for a creature, instant, or sorcery with converted mana cost less than or equal to the number of colors spent to cast the spell. Then you get to cast that card. So this basically gives us 6 copies of Niv-Mizzet Reborn without making us play 6 actual copies. In fact, we only play 3. It also gives us more access to copies of cards like Omnath, Locus of Creation. It lets us mize cards like Extinction Event and Unmoored Ego. And in the case of General Rokiric here, it's actually better than just casting those cards outright, because Bring to Light casts the spell that you find with it. So you're able to Rokiric, Bring to Light for a spell, and then get 2 Rokiric triggers. Bring to Light doesn't work with our Teferi outright, so it's been a while since you've played with Teferi. Teferi is a card that was printed in the year of Magic's downfall 2020, so it is not a symmetrical card, it's one-sided. So not only does Teferi not impact our Bring to Light, Teferi lets our Bring to Light be cast at instant speed when we +1 him, because this card is a giant pit stain of a design. That being said, we're going to play 4 of them and make people sad, because that's what Teferi does. We got a plethora of different 2-mana removal spells. We've got some Wrenn and Six here to help kind of smooth out our mana base by rebuying fetch lands. So let's go ahead and dive on into a league with this one and see how some Niv-Mizzets feel this afternoon. One thing I'd like to point out, because I'm sure it'll be a question I'll get asked at some point or in a YouTube comment, we are playing Extinction Event as opposed to Supreme Verdict, because I want to play Wellspring as a companion. Bring to Light does still work with Tibalt, however, I didn't really feel like that was something that would be super interesting or super powerful compared to the other things we could get. You weren't kidding about it being jarring going from Runeterra to Mono. Yeah, like I said, I think I'm going to sequence my schedule better next week so we do Runeterra later as opposed to starting with it. I mean, Pioneer is on the menu for donations. No. I don't think there's anything particularly compelling about Pioneer's gameplay from a is this interesting standpoint. Maybe that's not true. I guess with the archives messing up historic, maybe I would entertain a Pioneer submission for $100. Let's leave it there. Let's put it there. Thanks, Master Beardsman. And chat, that's Master Beardsman, so they know about good-looking beards, so. Birds of Paradise. It'd be a damn shame if something were to happen to that Birds of Paradise down the line here, Chip. I know it doesn't look like it, but there is more than one hair on top of my head, and we did cut all of them yesterday. I did. Yeah, I'm not giving like some of the cards I'm giving calls out on Twitter, but for the most part, I'm waiting on giving big opinions on cards from the new set until we get all of them. One of the things on my schedule next week will be a card review day for Magic. We get the full spoiler Tuesday morning, right? So I'll probably do that Tuesday. What basic lands does this deck have? It does have a basic mountain. We have one of each basic. 1, 2, 3, 4. We do have one of each basic. I'm gonna fetch Basic Mountain and murder this Birds of Paradise. BT Dubs, I've got it. I don't have it in the stream title today, so I want to mention it. It was in the Go Live notification, but my monthly sub survey is up. If you're someone that likes modern content or Runeterra content or historic or cube, if there's a particular type of content you enjoy from me more than others, make sure you fill that out. How I allocate my time on stream month to month tends to be dictated by what subs fill out in that survey. Like, for instance, the support for modern specifically was much higher than I was expecting it to be. So we're going to continue to do 4 to 5 modern decks per week. I was thinking about scaling modern down a little bit, but the metrics on that survey tell me that I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep doing quite a bit of it. I'm fetching planes and playing my general here. How's Runeterra support? It was the actual lowest of everything I put on the survey. Runeterra doesn't have... Runeterra is a very new game, and so one of, I think, the side effects of one of Runeterra's biggest drawing points is the fact that it's accessible in terms of its economy. And the fact that it's accessible in terms of its economy, I think, means on average it tends to attract more people that have less spending money and are less able to support with things like subscriptions. If you look at like the average Runeterra streamers, like a lot of them have a lot less subs than a lot of the Magic streamers. They've also existed for less time, so that's part of the factor too, but Runeterra has specifically never had a lot of subscription support. Yes, Devoid being huge here. So this is protection from monocolored, but this is technically colorless. That being said, it looks like we're in a little bit of trouble here, but it is worth noting that I've got that Extinction Event in our deck, and all of these are odd-costed things. So I think my play here is draw Wellspring, and then we'll fetch for a tapped land, and then next turn we'll bring to light for Extinction Event to clean this board up. Nah, even when Runeterra was like at its peak in terms of what I thought their format was doing, Seagull, like the number of sub supports I had for it was like lower than Magic, even when I hadn't been doing Magic for 2 months. A majority of the subs I had through my Magic break were people that just like weren't interested in Runeterra, but just like liked me as a person, so they kept supporting me while I was on a hiatus, which I appreciated. Shout out to you, Hoglandia, you're great. So we're taking 5 down to 11. We're fetching to 10. We're fetching to 9. We'll clean the board out. Probably grab like a breeding pool and then a forest here. Oh, that sucks. Runeterra is great, Hobbit. We played your Malphite deck for the entire 2 hours, and it was great. Really, really fantastic mid-range deck. Ugh, we're gonna get ephemerated here. Vomit. So now we have to spike a Bring to Light or the Extinction Event off the top. Nick around. Thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel this afternoon. Yeah, I think that's true too, Nansa. So, like, not only is Runeterra cheap enough that, like, you can just get cards yourself to play instead of watching, but also, Runeterra's gameplay is so fast-paced, it's difficult to watch Runeterra and play it at the same time. And I would wager, for example, you know, there's 500 people in here right now. I would wager there's a number of people that are currently playing Moto or playing Arena while watching this stream. And that's very difficult to do. We're playing Microsoft Excel. Yeah, we're working. Yeah, so we lost our Bring to Light here. Oh, fuck! No! Ugh. Well, shit. Well, I forgot to fetch, because I was talking and clicking. I guess we'll just do this, and then play a tapped land. And then we, like, take a hit next turn, and then we put the Moose make a token. Oh. Oh, they have an Ephemerate suspended. Yeah, we're just super dead, because they get to blink this, and then... Alright, we lost to Black-White Sewer, chat. Are we... I think... I'm not 100%, but I think we're obligated to delete our deck if we lose this matchup. So we'll cut the Unmoored Ego. I definitely want all these pieces of spot removal. Probably isn't a very... I guess Teferi stops them from Ephemerate shenanigans. I don't know if that's good enough, though. Might not be. Why is it called Black-White Sewer? Because it's a bunch of cards that are individually kind of garbage. And I guess it's technically like Absian Sewer. They played a bunch of green cards, too. I guess Kaya's Guile isn't very good. They have a lot of mediocre cards, so the Edict's not very good. Yeah, maybe that's the trim, actually. Let's do this. Someone asked about my previous Runeterra deck, and oh, is my app not loaded this morning? It claims it was loaded. Doesn't look like it added it automatically to my thing, though. Well, none of my decks from recently are up there. Weird. Was the overlay working when we were playing Runeterra? Could you mouse over cards? I'll figure that out later. I just assumed it was working because I had the app loaded, but it doesn't look like it sunk my decks. Okay, so the mouse overs are working, but the deck sync wasn't. Figure that out. It's probably good enough. My opponent's deck is full of discard spells, so... Thanks, Snor. Which match is this in this league? Gosh! If only there was a way we could put the information on the screen on where we were at in this league. I guess the technology's just not there yet. Thirsty Kane, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. It's a name I recognize. Yeah, I'll say. I thought I've said thank you to that name before. Welcome back if you've been away for a bit. Or maybe you just unbumped the follow button. Can we name White here? And cast a Helix with this. I mean, why does it need to go on the right? It's literally not covering anything where it's at. And like, then I'd have to make the chat smaller, or I'd have to make the card preview smaller, and neither of those things seem like particularly great things to do. Listen, I could literally make this thing, if you're implying that people would notice it easier if it was on the right side, you'd be wrong. That's not how Twitch chat works. On a Magic break, breaks are good. I often say people don't quit Magic, they just take breaks, and breaks are definitely good for the spirits. So we have all of our colors. This is blue, white, red, black. One of these makes green. We can play this, drop Niv next turn. Modern has been great, Evan. Thanks for the 23 months. Welcome back. Survey results are mostly in line with what I was expecting. There's a little bit more support for Modern than I was anticipating, which is great to see because I think Modern's definitely my favorite format Magic has at the moment. So it's good to have some justification to do a little bit more of that. Feels Magic, man. Have a good one, Safar Hat. The way I sequenced the colors on these sprawls, I was unable to hold up Vanishing Verse this turn, which maybe was a mistake. You've been playing some Yori and Niv. Yeah, I can see that being reasonable. Definitely not a shortage of decent cards you can shove into here. Like, we're not even playing 4 Bring to Lights or 4 Nibs, so like, being plus 80 cards doesn't even change our chance of drawing a lot of things. That might just be better than playing Wellspring. I started with a 60 card deck I pulled off a 5-0 league, but yeah, maybe Yorian's just ideal. Blinking Niv is obviously good. Blinking Omnath, also not bad. Am I supposed to Helix the Tide Hollow Sculler while they don't have any trickery up? I think so. It gives them an opportunity to take the Niv away again next turn before we can cast it, but I think that's still correct. So if I like play the Wellspring, out, they could like Wasteland Strangler process the Niv and then I don't get it. Thanks for the 37 months ring, Tangy. Welcome back. How's Spider-Man ban? I think this Spider-Man is up there in my list of top games of all time. I think it easily has the best combat of any game that I've touched in the last couple of years. And it's got an open worldy element to it that has good flavor and texture. And the main stories. I think the Miles Morales Spider-Man was up there too, but its story was quite a bit shorter. I think we finished that one in like 10 hours, and we're like 10-ish hours into this one, and we're only halfway through. Plus we have a DLC. If we played Vista as our land, we could have left up Verse. That's a good thought. I didn't play the Vista because they don't know about it. So, like, this is probably a draw step. This is probably a draw step, oh. Draw step that, sure. They're just trying to attack my colors. And so, someone talking about holding up the verse, part of the reason why my opponent made this play was because they didn't know we had the Vista. So they think their play here is cutting us off of being able to cast Niv-Mizzet Reborn when really it's not, because we have the Vista. I am not going to be live tomorrow, but Mirror Mirror is available for several days, so I'm planning to do Mirror Mirror on Sunday when I am live in costume. Oh, do we have a state of the game update? I would ask that people don't spoil that in chat for me, whatever goodies are in there, and then I will pull it up and talk about it on stream after we finish this match. Please and thank you. Cast the world's largest Muldrifter. Do I take suggestions for games? Yeah, I take donations for games like I take donations for decks. I also take suggestions for games that I should potentially add to my watch list that are things I should look for that go on sale at some point. I have a bit of a backlog from games that I've purchased on sale. At this point, though. Don't we all adult? Are you even really an adult gamer if you don't have a backlog of video games you haven't had a chance to play yet? I feel like that's a requirement. I don't sub to be personally attacked. Listen, it's not a personal attack. I'm saying I get you. I understand you. Man, this Extinction Event is about to be real good. So I don't have that problem. I don't have an issue of starting games and then not finishing them. I'm really good at being dedicated. One of my superpowers as a gamer is not getting distracted and being able to play games start to finish. To tell you the amount of iron willpower that I have, my first Witcher 3 playthrough was only 60 hours. We finished the main storyline. That being said, I plan to revisit Witcher 3 when the PS5 remaster comes out. I'm going to do a more complete playthrough that'll probably be 100 plus hours when we do that one, because that game's great. There's other decision trees I'd like to walk through. This play is going to seem a little bit odd, but bear with me here, chat. Most of the other games that I play have like a very similar mood, so I have like card games at any given point, and then like whatever story I'm playing through. Thanks for the follow, Deadwing. Good afternoon. I want another black source here, right? Got 2 of everything else. And then I think we want to Wrenn and Six, start picking up lands. Good afternoon, Grizzly Con. And then honestly, like, Wellspring makes mana, so I think we do that. And then next turn we can, like, play the General alongside a bunch of other stuff. So opponent's hand is Yorion +1 cards. I'd be pretty surprised they can get back into this game. Definitely feels like we're in garbage time at this point. And honestly, the fact that they're down 6 minutes on clock, they should probably concede for the sake of... Or do they have a combo kill in their deck? They have a combo kill they could get us. Could like Felidar Guardian into Kiki-Jiki here or something silly. Didn't realize they had red cards or like 5-color. I'm trying to think. Is there a combination of things that combo us with the Aether Vial on 3? I don't think so. Just a Soul Herder, sure. Probably want a red source with this fetch. So this will blink the Recruiter and get them another draw. I guess they can Yorion, blink a bunch of stuff, then Soul Herder and end a turn maybe. We're going to take a look at the state of the game after I finish this match. Sir, it's the 26 months. Good morning and welcome back. When people say you get more conservative as you get older, they mean you put enough red sources to cast your Kiki-Jiki. Big mood. Big mood. You would be both. The only conservative movement I could get behind. Wow, they didn't blink the Yorion. Interesting. So we're going to have 3 cards in hand, one of which we'll know. We're going to murder their board this turn, plus make a bunch of tokens with Rokiric. And it doesn't... I feel like based on what we've seen here so far, they are not a combo deck. They're just a dedicated value deck. I'm not sure I understand your question, Hidden Flame. Jack, thanks for re-upping for the 2nd month. Welcome back. Good morning. I think I'm happy with how we sideboarded here. I'm gonna go ahead and run it back. We're the real value deck and others are pretenders. Something like that. Yeah, this is fine. Decent 8-card hand. Opponent has mulligan to 5. Oh, one question for the Moto overlay interface. Is it kind of distracting that I have the chat just overlaid on the event log here? Should I put a solid color behind the chat backer on this overlay? Or like some kind of texture instead of words on words? Is the words on words bad? Yeah, I don't think it's unreadable what it is right now, but I think it would probably be an improvement if I changed it, huh? I can't read words anyways, so whatever. So I'm not proactively helixing this because they could ephemerate me in response, which I'd prefer not to have happen. Now we can go ahead and do this. I think we just get Wrenn and Six working towards ultimate here. Bounce their wall? Yeah, pass. It's kind of sad that we only have Prismatic Vista for fetch lands here, but is what it is. I have to discard to hand size. Sedge. Should have been counting better. Might have been right to play Teferi this turn too. Teferi would have insulated me against like thing plus ephemerate thing. I think I just cash Teferi in for a card right away in the event that they have another Skyclave here. Are budget decks in Modern a thing? Yeah. I don't know if they're a good thing, but they definitely exist. There's some mono red prowess variations that aren't that unreasonable. Tron, if you're looking for a budget deck on Magic Online, we played Green Tron recently, and that deck only costs $70 to build outright if you get the build that we played off my YouTube channel. I think that Green Tron has a bad prowess matchup, but it's good against most other things, or like has reasonable matchups or is good against most other things. So if you don't mind punting specifically the prowess matchup, I think Green Tron's a decent choice. Yeah, I was very surprised at how cheap it was. Wasn't Modern presented first as budget Legacy? I mean, Modern was presented as an alternative to Legacy, but I think calling it specifically budget Legacy isn't really a fair assessment. Bauble is $80 for a playset. Bauble is $80 for a playset in paper. On Moto, it's $200 for a playset. I don't really need a second blue, right? Just have all of our colors here, doesn't really matter. You're allowed to discuss Magic spoilers here? You are, but I won't really give my opinion on too many of them. One of the days for the stream next week, probably Tuesday after we get the full spoiler, I'll do a full spoiler review on stream. I look at things pretty sparingly otherwise until we get there. I assume this is just gonna name like Niv-Mizzet, since that's our big draw here. Teferi in play, it's like not too big of a deal. Yeah. And because Bring to Light casts the cards you find, this naming Niv-Mizzet means we also cannot bring to light for Niv either. Yeah, with their Yorion here, we've just drawn so many lands at this point that I think our opponent's gonna really take over this game, because this Yorion's gonna blink these Imperial Recruiters and draw some stuff. They're going to draw another card here. Definitely feels like we're behind. Yeah, there's a Soul Herder. Okay, Vanishing Verse is not terrible. Vanishing Verse means I can exile their Dorkos. And start pressuring them. They are only at 15. So will Vanishing Verse whatever they target with Soul Herder here. And then hopefully we'll draw Niv-Mizzet and we can bounce the Meddling Mage and slam that and get back in the game. This is where the magic happens. So now the question is, do I bounce Soul Herder and try and draw Niv again? I think the answer is yes. But now the problem is I can't they're gonna replay Meddling Mage next turn, and then I can't cast Niv next turn if I draw it now until this gets ticked back up. Which is scary. How many actual spells have we had this game? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1 exiled. We had 7 spells and 21 cards. This deck does play a lot of mana, though. Like, Utopia Sprawl plus 25 lands is like 29 pieces of mana, so we're actually not that far outside of our average case draw. We're hoping to draw another piece of removal next turn, so that way we can keep killing the things that they target with the Soul Herder. We do have them under the Abyss with the Wellspring now, which is nice. That's definitely true. I mean, I don't really want to win the match to clock. I don't really care about Moto Bucks at the end of the day. Like, someone paid me to play this deck, so, like, in terms of money, I'm fine either way. I just want to, like, play a meaningful match of Magic. Okay, so Niv-Mizzet Reborn is the card that's being named with that. So we just get Omnath, then? I can also attack with both, and if they don't block the 2/2, we just kill them with Lightning Helix. I think that's the play to start. So I can't cast Niv-Mizzet off of the Bring to Light. Okay. And now we'll go get Omnath. I'm doing this now because we could draw a card that we want to cast this turn. Or we could draw another land. And then I'm going to wait to crack this fetch because we don't need the mana for anything. And next turn with fetch, we can trigger the 3rd landfall trigger to deal 4 to my opponent. Which means that both Omnath and Wellspring are lethal. So we don't know any of the 3 cards in my opponent's hand at the moment. One's a land. So I have 3, 4, 5, 6. They can't draw and blink this yet. Wasteland Strangler is fine. There's only one thing in my exile, and this doesn't kill either of my 2 things. I think 5-color Omnath will be a Planeswalker. I kind of hope so. That would be gas. I guess this lets them attack and kill Teferi. But then if they don't have something else next, they have to block both of our things next turn because of my fetch land. If they kill Teferi, their last card has to be a blocker or a removal spell. Otherwise, my fetches kill them. Omnath should have a 4th landfall that draws 4 cards. Well. Okay, so they're chump blocking, and then we get to bring to light for Niv and just, like, put the game away. Like, they have to double chump here. And then the bring to light means that the game's just out of reach. We bring to light for Helix. All right, so they've instead decided to... They've instead decided to take the play that leaves them dead on board. Good chat. They also named the card that was in my hand. I don't know. If they were ghosting, they would have heard me talking about how they were dead to the fetch lands, so... I'd be surprised if they're ghosting. All right, let's grab the... State of the game. Covering about Forgotten Realms stuff. The last several years, we've launched a core set each summer, but this year is different. Instead, we're taking you on a journey into the Forgotten Realms. Here, you'll be bringing the world of Dungeons & Dragons to Magic. Yep, we know about that. We know how dungeons work. You need to choose a dungeon from a pop-up here. Sure. Interface looks very reasonable. Get to click between them. Some of these might be spoilers. There's dragons. Yeah, I saw this one. This one looks real good. Nice. Mastery Pass dragons. Mastery Pass dragons look good. Maybe one of these will replace my Almond Cat. You get to roll dice on cards. Oh, there's a D20 animation in the client. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Some more spoilers. I'm not going over the spoilers here. We're going to do a full spoiler review later. Improvement in usability. The main improvement. The horizontal deck builder now works on mobile. That's awesome. This is great. Using the other deck editor sucked. Maybe, are we getting a sideboard improvement? No mention of the sideboard interface being improved. RIP. Beyond the builder, we have improved the mobile experience and stuff. Make it easier to get into full control mode. Increase the card size slightly at the drafting table. Add lands handle 100-card decks properly. Oh, we added features to add 100-card decks properly. Am I going to continue scrolling down Magic Arena and find out that I'm going to have a queue where I can always play my 100-card deck? Or are you going to continue making it so I can only do that at specialty times when you dangle it in front of me? Did you do the right thing, Magic Arena? Or are you still fucking up by telling me I'm not allowed to play Magic how I want to play Magic? Let's find out. Midweek Magic, a new take on FNM at home. Yeah, this is a good change. With actual FNM starting to come back again, moving the focus off of FNM to midweek stuff. So still having that same experience and prizes that you got from FNM at home, but having it at a different time so you can play it on Arena and also play FNM at your local game store is a good change. Pausing work on Pioneer Masters. Historic experienced rapid growth and change over last year. It developed into a unique format. It's definitely unique. I don't know that I would call getting memory lapsed in half or more of my games compelling, but that's subjective, so you can feel free to disagree, whoever wrote this article. Our schedule doesn't have room to focus on growing that unique identity for Historic and fully supporting Pioneer. Some step towards Pioneer will be coming as part of Historic's growth, but we have paused work on Pioneer Masters for the time being, and we don't anticipate it being released in the next year. So this doesn't surprise me. Thanks for the 25-month Shadow Kid. I had talked about how I would be, I don't think they're not bringing Pioneer to the platform. In fact, it doesn't say that here that they're not bringing Pioneer. I would bet we're going to continue to see the remastered sets like we saw for Amonkhet and Kaladesh. And I've talked about this on stream before, that I would bet they were surprised by how successful Amonkhet and Kaladesh remasters were from a limited perspective. And they want to release these remaster sets as a limited perspective. Now, I should really keep a tinfoil hat in my office so I can strap my tinfoil hat on here. Now, the greedy anti-consumer reason to pause work on Pioneer Masters is that a Masters set would be explicitly loaded full of format staples, which would mean if they put a master set in Arena, it would be incredible value to buy packs of that set, because it would likely have more format staples than Draft Chaff. Now, look at remaster sets. Look at Amonkhet and Kaladesh. There is a reason why I don't recommend buying either of those sets if you are a Dolphin or a Minnow and looking to get into Historic. Those remaster sets are trash, awful, garbage value because they are riddled full of limited power level cards that aren't actually relevant to Historic. So they're gonna, by not having a remaster set, they are gonna soak way more money out of people by just having block remasters means that they're gonna get people to buy more Draft Chaff than if they had Pioneer Masters. So they're going to force people to spend money on cards they don't actually want to get into Historic. So from a greedy capitalistic perspective, this definitely makes sense. Rotation prep. And the big sad here, chat, the big sad here is they could have been like, listen, we've listened to community feedback. We know you're all fucking sick of Eldraine, but instead, you're going to deal with Eldraine until the end of September still. So I was kind of hoping they would surprise us and be like, surprise, you want to play Standard again? But no, they don't. No, but nobody really wants to play Standard. That's, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. This is mostly what I was expecting. Read more there. 4 older sets will leave. We'll move into only legal and historic. This will leave Zendikar and Innistrad as standard legal sets. As usual around rotation. We're also starting standard 2022 play and standard 2022 ranked best of 1 queues where older sets are already out and Zendikar legal is forward. These modes will give you a chance to get a preview of post-rotation standard might look like, but they're only best of 1. You can't play, like, this is like, best of 1 Magic is a fundamentally different game than best of 3 Magic. They should have just ripped the fucking Band-Aid off and rotated it early and just been like, yeah, just rip it off and let us actually play. They got so close to like doing, like, people are like, read on, Jeff. Yeah, they got real close to doing something worthwhile, and then they mucked it up at the end. There's a lot more to share about rotation. You'll see additional information in the game later in July as we see more what's coming next for Magic Arena. Yeah, I guess, like, okay, so we're announcing an announcement that's going to happen a month from now. Maybe they're going to change how rotation works. I just, like, this is so close to being... It's best of one and ranked best of one. There's nothing here about best of three. At all. At all. Yeah. Like, it's just so weird to me that they can understand that this just, it shows to me that they missed the point, which is they understand that they have a problem, but they only want to half-ass the solution. Is just like pretty peak Wizards of the Coast decision making with stuff like this. So yeah, I don't know. There's nothing in there that surprises me. Like, best of three gets the shaft. They didn't bring back Historic Commander like they should. For the people saying that they did that same queue last year too, it definitely means they understand there's a problem. They just don't care enough to fix it, and they've known that there's a problem for a year. Like, Squirrel Squad, thanks for the 21 months. Welcome back. Why do you think WotC hates best of three? So it's not that Wizards hates best of three. It's that best of one is significantly more popular on Magic Arena. And they're worried about this is the last year this event wasn't ranked, right? There's a ranked queue for this pre-rotated format. Was it ranked last year, or was it just like a play queue? I didn't think it was ranked last year, but I could be misremembering. It wasn't. Okay. My memory is correct. So, that being said, some of the feedback on the sub-survey about people saying, in the comments section, I had a number of people tell me they didn't vote for fast rotated standard because there wouldn't be a queue for them to test it in. And while there wouldn't be a best of three queue, maybe I'll just pretend this isn't a democracy and make an executive decision and say that we're gonna do maybe we will do rotated standard for the Hooglandia Open. Just say fuck it. It's like relatively close. It's relatively close last time. Let me check my Google form. Oh yeah, we're 46 to 33. But I also think we're also 20% indifferent, but I also think that like this data is now muddied by the fact that like a queue will exist for people to be able to play in. Like that data now has a real bias to it. We gotta Dreadbore this idiot, but I have to shock myself to do it, which isn't exciting. Sure, but like I need to kill something. Like I can't just like take a hit. The alternative is like play Teferi and like bounce something, which also isn't very good. Also, and this is a real thing too. I'm largely putting on the opens as a spectator event, with that being a goal, and people will be more interested. People literally won't be able to play the modified historic format that our open will be, whereas while they can't play best of 3 new standard, they can still get deck ideas from it. And I think we'll probably have a better viewer count with new standard because of this Q edition. I refuse to vote to certify this open decision. I shouldn't laugh at that, but... Alright, so they can replay their Lord at instant speed. So this is red, blue, black. We'll fetch green here, and then we can bring to light for 5. Yeah, I think we just jam the Niv. Stalinsky, thanks for the 10 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. My Mull Drifter missed, chat. Okay, so they're going to play another spirit, tap my Niv, attack me, and then we'll bring to light for a thing. I wish Moto had a little music or something. Okay, I'm going to let you in on a really dirty secret. Whatever computer you're currently watching me stream Twitch from is capable of having 2 audio streams going at the same time. Unless you have an iPhone, in which case you should throw your iPhone away and buy a real device. Your Android phone can't either. Your Android phone definitely can. You might be too much of a boomer to figure it out, though. All right. I think we board General out here because we're definitely the control deck in this matchup and his tokens don't block. I think Teferi is good. Do we trim some Wrenn and Six?
Did you not get any?
I forgot to pick up mayo packets.
Last
Last 2 mayo packets. Thank you, lovely wife. How are I was gonna say the monsters, but Declan's not here. How are the other 2?
Haley's cranky and mean.
I think she's at a point where she knows what she wants, and she's frustrated that she can't communicate it well all the time. It's gotta learn. Girls gotta learn to talk. Do you remember Jake and Declan went through a phase like that too?
Grunts about it.
Yeah, grunts. That's where your daughter's at, yeah. Yeah, I feel like they hit that stage where like, because like she like brings me stuff and gets very excited when I understand like what she's brought me. This hand's great, right? We fetch the Indatha Triome, and then we can Helix or Abrupt Decay onto, depending on which of these shocklands we play. Days in, thanks for the third of year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. So you can play music on the iPhone and do other things at the same time, but iOS doesn't support multiple audio streams simultaneously. Is the specific thing that the iPhone fails to do. Just gonna go ahead and fetch this tap now. So I can auto pass and eat my sandwich. Actually, before I eat this, I need to show something off to the people who are not American. This is half of my sandwich, the other half of which I ate for dinner last night. If you're ever wondering why America is what it is and Americans look like what we look like, this is half a sandwich. I ate the other half, and then I saved this half for lunch today. But I would like the record to reflect that is half a sandwich. America, do do, be do 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 do. All right, so am I abrupt decaying this Aether Vial? So we're like decaying something, and the next turn we're tap land decaying something else. I think we're just killing their creatures. I'm gonna pretend to ignore this. This is the plan. So I've been trying to be better about my portion controls. Because I've been walking 6 to 10 kilometers a day to hatch Pokemon Go eggs and level up my buddy level. So I'm attempting to combine regular exercise with eating slightly less to maybe lose some of my pudge. I'm not like counting calories or anything like that, but I'm just like trying to eat, like I'm just like looking at what I normally eat and then like shaving a little bit off basically. So I'm not counting calories or anything crazy like that, but you know. Well, that's a rude dude, chat. Sir Teaglesworth has turned on me, chat. He used to be my friend, but he is no longer. Well, that's vomit-inducing. I was worried about a second Queller, but we had Teferi to cover it. Rock Skull's pretty Pretty bad news bears for us. We're not in a good spot, but their last two cards are blanks. We could get back in this. Gonna take a little bit of luck for sure. Our mana is also a little bit awkward. We've got a lot of blue. But like, if neither of these are threats, we like have a blocker here, and then it maybe draws us some interaction. Kaya's Guile is very good. If they have another threat, obviously they just kill us, but yeah, looks like we're dead. Close game considering they were on the play. Demolisher. Thanks for the 19 months, and thanks for the 29 months. All right. Hats off to this Utopia Sprawl. It's about to put this game on its back and carry us across the finish line. Shock this named Black here. Drop Teferi, bounce their first play. Kaya's Guile them back into the Stone Age with Edicts and making 1/1s. Do we draw this? I think we just draw this, right? They could play a creature next turn. Nah, I think we just pass. I think we pass because if they put a creature down here, I want to Kaya's Guile it. Because I want to be able to play Omnath next turn on an empty board. Mostly empty board. I also, if they pass here without casting something, I think there's a good chance I just like do this with for a 1/1 and gain 4. Yeah, if we keep Teferi in play, I feel like they have a pretty hard time winning. Kind of stupid interface. Each opponent sacrifices a creature, create a 1/1. Okay, so we grab this, and then this grabs Mountain, and we can cast Omnath. I'm going to leave this back as a blocker, just in case they have something off the Aether Vial. I think we're just entwining this Kaya's Guile, right? And we'll do it in response to, their thing here, so we Edict the Mind Sensor. Land sucks. I think we start by bouncing the Aether Vial here. Just forces action out of them. Hoping to draw a Bring to Light or Extinction Event here. So I don't think we really need to draw. I don't think we really need to draw. Or we really need to entwine this to gain 4 with Omnath in play. So I think we. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus 4 is 11 mana. So I can Kaya's Guile and Wellspring here. I don't think we're quite at Bounce Omnath yet. They're at 12, and I want to pressure them. So you sack a thing, we get a thing. And then next turn we might make mana with Omnath and then Teferi bounce him. If we draw another brick. Okay, so plus this Arid Mesa, crack Arid Mesa, get this untapped. Keep the new one. Bounce the Omnath. I should just Helix their Dome while they can't counterspell, right? They're gonna kill Teferi next turn. These give each other hexproof, so I can't target any of their creatures. Yeah, probably, Steric. From a technically correct sense. Zexaros, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel this afternoon. I mean, we might be alright in this race. Like, I can't block any of the opponent's stuff, and their stuff is all very large, and they're one lord away from Wellspring. Yeah, like, Wellspring can't attack into Spellcaller now. Although I suppose they have to block, if they want to eat this, they have to trade one of these off. So we're probably just attacking with both. Niv or Bring to Light are good draws. Extinction Event is a good draw. Extinction Event and Bring to Light are actually all lethal. I think it's also kind of worth noting that, like, I talked about how I was playing Extinction Event instead of Supreme Verdict because I wanted to play the Wellspring as the companion, but Extinction Event has kind of been better than Supreme Verdict in most of these games that we've played. Alright, well, we're stone raining them. I know you're excited about that, Twitch chat. So these attacks, they have to block both. And if they block my Wellspring with their Spellcaller, they lose a Lord, which means that their Spellcaller dies as well. So these technically trade 2 for 2 if they go block, block. They could go block, block here, and then I keep Wellspring. Oh, right, they do the 2 Lords here. Yeah, that makes sense. I think this is right. Still, it doesn't feel good, but I think it's the correct play. Gotta take some of their power off the board because I can't block. This takes away Extinction Event as an out. Yeah, and like we're dead in like 2 attacks here, right? 3 attacks? 3 attacks? We're at 23. Right. Right, my MTGO cards are MTGO traders. Yeah, I think we're dead, fam. The Mausoleum Wanderers put this out of reach for us. Crazy game. We had such a good start, and then just kind of puttered out in the middle there. They got double hexproof down, which turned a bunch of our interaction into stuff that just didn't have text. I had since I am parting with F2K as of this month, I had someone do me up some new banners that were similar to the ones I had with them. They did a great job to replace the ones I have on social media that have F2K branding with these. Look pretty good. Why the split? F2K is reorganizing how they manage and sell ad space with partners. So a bunch of people are splitting off. It was a mutual split. No hard feelings with them. They were great to work with over the years. I'll probably still do some one-off stuff. I'm on good terms with the person that owns the company, and I'll probably do some one-off stuff here and there. But I won't have like a consistent banner or anything like that on stream anymore. Big Stan, thanks for the 2.5 years. And Alistair Stone, thanks for the 20 months. Welcome back, folks. Garcia Man, thanks for repping for the 2nd month. Welcome back. Good morning to you too. Thanks for sticking around for 3/4 of a year, Titan. Howdy. On the draw? I'm gonna keep this on the draw. Oh, Lambton. Looking for any red or blue source, a fetch line that fetches the steam vents would be ideal, obviously. This is grabbing the Abzan Triumph for us. We'll be able to Abrupt Decay Taylor here. Casting iteration for a prowess trigger. Only 1 card. Interesting. Is this list posted anywhere? Not currently, but I also don't have really strong feelings on this particular list that we're playing. I just took a random 5-0 list and made a couple of small changes to it. I think there's a chance that you're just supposed to play 80 cards and play Yorion. I'm playing Wellspring as a companion, but I think Yorion might be better. Like, the 60 card build isn't even playing 4 Nivs or 4 Bring to Lights. So, like, you can kind of just, like, round out your 4 ofs. I actually didn't add a land because it was on 25 plus Wrenn and Six plus plus the enchantments, so that seemed like it was plenty. It's 1.5 years Garlic Clove. Okay, so that doesn't get both of our colors, but it gets at least one of them, and it means we can cast our 3 mana spells, so take it. Probably grab an island with that. I think Teferi is probably more important than Rokiric here. Also, if you play 80 cards, you have less of a chance of, like, drawing your one of Unmoored Ego. Which would be nice. Here's a question, chat. What's worth more life? Am I better off Kaya's Guiling to gain 4 or Kaya's Guiling to make a 1/1? Probably just want to gain 4 against the Lava Dart deck, right? Hey, look, we drew Steam Vents. Nailed it. This matchup's probably not terrible for us. We had 4 Guiles and 4 Helix in the 75. At least our 3/1 has protection from Lava Dart. Yeah, we've got that going for us. I gotta do this again. Obviously, I could have tried to do this first, but this keeps my life total higher, and I don't want to, like, shock in to cast this. Let's me play the tap land. Then we can, like, do this next turn plus tap land, and then start, like, Tefering and stuff to make tokens to close out. Yeah, I've also got 3 Chalice of the Void in the sideboard, which gets to come in and get put on 1 in this matchup, which is pretty good. Utopia Sprawls are only 1 drop. Nice piece of technology. A number of decks in this format are playing Chalice of the Void just for 0 right now, so you can play against, like, Living End, and other Cascade decks. But the fact that this deck also gets to play it on 1 against Prowess feels strong. This card is so good. I only have 1 white mana. What a tilter. I think, again, I prioritize just taking their threat out of play as opposed to developing my own board. It's a shame we don't have second white. We can't go Roderick into Vanishing Verse, but... yeah, they might have something to take Chalice off the table, but they're gonna need to draw it without cantrips other than Expressive Iteration, which is strong. Untap White Source would be nice to go Rokiric into Teferi, monster thing, make a token. Any untapped land, let's just go Rokiric into Ego. Bring to light. Well, now I just put a Niv into play, right? Post board, they might have counter spells. Game 1, I'm not playing around him. It's like, yep, here's my thing. So we're still at 20. Like, their deck has some big bursty turns, but feeling pretty safe at 20. You know, famous last words. 2 removal spells and a way to draw fetch lands back from our bin. Love it. Unholy Heat does kill my Niv. Kind of surprised they did that on their turn rather than on my turn rather than getting the prowess triggers on their turn. They've got plenty of mana. And really seeing the strength of Niv here, right? Like, he came into play and he died, but he, like, drew 3 cards and they were all good cards, right? Like, it's not like you can draw lands with Niv. When he's drawing cards, he's giving you action. Niv's all about the action all the time, baby. Oh, baby. Yeah, Unholy Heat is very strong. I did see that symbol. That's on my list of things to get to at some point on stream. Speaking of, there's 700 people in here who I assume most of you like modern content. Some of you might just like me, but many of you like modern content. Mana Symbol is a good follow. They stream a good bit of modern, a number of sweet decks, like the one they just mentioned they played in the Modern Challenge. I think we want to Abrupt Decay this Dorko because Vanishing Verse can tag the entity while Abrupt Decay cannot. Yeah, definitely. Link away. Links are enabled in general. It's one of the upsides of having sub-only chat. They get to treat people like adults. I like Jeff, but I mostly sub for the Hex Shards of Fate content. Listen, I would say we don't make fun of the dead today, but I've made fun of Artifact at least 3 times on this stream alone, so I'll allow it, Jin. We did a full reaction to the state of the game on stream live, and it'll get its own separate video clipped on the YouTube channel this evening. Ken, thanks for the 13 months. Welcome back. The TLDR, though, is that I'm not surprised by the announcement. In fact, it's something that I expected to have happened, and I've talked about expecting it to be happening in the past on stream, though. I think we're solidly into garbage time at this point. Can we make fun of Magic Legends? Definitely. I mean, like, I knew Magic Legends was heading in the direction it went in, but, like, I was shocked at the speed at which that project died. It was honestly impressive. Was that like the speedrun record for your game? Like the game didn't they just kill Pioneer and Arena? I love Magic players, and by I love Magic players, I mean it's very amusing that Magic players can read that announcement and come to the conclusion that they just killed Pioneer and Arena. Because that's not what that announcement said at all. If you think the announcement that Wizards made today was they're killing Pioneer and Arena, I'd encourage you to better your reading comprehension. Alright, I think I cut my Planeswalker so they get attacked down and they get, what's it called? They get blasted by the deal 6. We just like bring in all our Doomblades and the Chalice. Since we're on the topic of calling out Magic players, I will say I'm someone who's frequented the Magic Historic subreddit on occasion. I've made some comments there and posted some stuff there. And there was just the most boomer thread I have ever seen. There was a thread, it had like 60 or 70 upvotes when I clicked it, which is a lot. It's a smaller community on the Historic subreddit, of someone who wrote this book with multiple paragraphs talking about how it was awful that we would rebalance cards on Arena. And how it was just wrong that that would happen, and that should never be something that they do. It was just like the biggest boomer energy I had ever seen, especially related to something specifically for Arena. That seems pretty good. Do I bottom a Lightning Helix? I think I bottom a Lightning Helix, which seems kind of crazy, but given the matchup, but I think that's the play. This unfortunately gets to live for a turn, but it is what it is. A 4th Doomblade, don't mind if it does. Despite all the rage, it is still just a Chandler in a cage. You know, honestly, people often talk about how, like, logistically they couldn't errata cards in paper. They totally could, right? Like, you could have local game stores round up cards that people don't want anymore, that, like, want the new printing on, and then, like, the ones with the original wording become more collectibles for people to chase after. Like, there's actually, yeah, and that's even before you ignore the fact that there are plenty of errated cards in paper, right? Like, there's all of the companions, and then there's all the various day zero erratas that we've had. Yeah, five mana Teferi had an errata. And to be fair, the actually asterisk is that none of the errata that they've done is power level other than companions. They generally speaking don't do power level errata, but to pretend that errata in general doesn't exist in Magic is very silly, because it definitely does. Call me Faye. Thanks for the 10 months. Call me Jeff. What's 5 mana Teferi's errata? 5 mana Teferi requires you to untap 2 lands with his delayed trigger in paper, which would force you to untap your opponent's lands if you didn't remember to float mana. So they errated him to say untap up to 2 lands. So that way you didn't have to in paper be like, I'm gonna float 2 mana and then untap my lands, go. So they could have a counterspell here. So I think I'm actually going to go ahead and Vanishing Verse to start. Just in case they have like a Spell Pierce or something. Yeah, spin those tires, baby. Perfect. You sack a thing, I'll gain 4. We'll fetch a Breeding Pool with this. Then we'll Niv-Mizzet next turn. Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh does power level erratas too, right? It's not just like random non-English ones. The Teferi change is real because I have to take mana burn, right, Jeff? Yeah, you know, and that's another thing too, right? Like there's where's my companion? Did I fail to click on my companion? I don't think there's any cards on my sideboard that break the companion rule. Chalice doesn't break it, right? Chalice says no Wellspring? Oh. Oh, that's really stupid. Oh, these chalices are not worth it at all. Yikes. Okay, I mean, that's definitely how that works, but also yikes. I didn't realize that 2x's counted. I was like, oh, that's not a big deal. We'll just... Yeah, it's just any repeated symbol. Yeah, that makes sense reading the card. It just wasn't how I was expecting it to work. Yeah, I'm pretty confident that... Well, I mean, like, I don't know. Like, Wellspring is a good anti-Blood Moon card. Like, Wellspring lets you cast Wellspring through Blood Moon, and then he taps to cast Niv-Mizzet and your other spells, right? They did cut themselves off blue. And if I draw a Utopia Sprawl, I get to Utopia Sprawl my forest for black and then Vanishing Verse this Blood Moon. Yeah, they can block the 3/1 though. It's only hexproof. So like if they find a creature that can block, they like get into a staring contest. When they don't draw a creature, we kill them in 5 though. Okay, Island is also a good draw now. Island, Swamp, Utopia Sprawl, all good draws. Lightning Helix is a good draw. I think I'm going to hold on to a land, so that way if we, like, find a blue source and an Omnath, I'm not going to hold 2 lands, but holding 1 land seems fine. Seeing that you stream primarily Mono, well, if you're looking to stream primarily Magic Online, it's basically just like any modern computer will do. Get 32 gigs of RAM, get at least a mid-range graphics card, like a 2060 or a 3060 if you can get your hands on one. Honestly, even a low-end 3000 series is probably fine. But you want an okay graphics card so you can use the GPU to encode your stream. But if you're not streaming real games, you don't need anything fancy. Not much at all, man. A simple a mid-range graphics card would stream Arena just fine too. Unity applications aren't that graphics intensive. I bought a 2080 Super because I do some variety streaming. But like a 2060, even honestly, even a 1060 would be fine. Or if you could find an old 1080. Even older graphics cards are expensive these days though, because of the hardware shortages that are going around. Flaming Swag, thanks for the 17 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. And you're Nover, thanks for the follow. Am I dead? Could be going to a game 3 here because of this Blood Moon. I mean, I don't even know if I want this Chalice after seeing Blood Moon. I kind of just wish I had a Wellspring. Like, I think we're like 100% to win this game if I have Wellspring, right? Okay, I'm gonna put this Chalice on one so they see it, then I'm gonna board it out. Any castable spell here, Chrysalis? Anyway, like, the way this game went, we didn't even need a castable Niv. We just, like, needed a 5/5. Like, the castable Niv would have been absurd, but, like, the 5/5 would have done it. Okay, I'm gonna attack for 3. Force the trade. No, Modern's great. I think Modern is the best format, the best constructed format Magic has at the moment. Historic went to shit with Brainstorm and Memory Lapse, and Standard's been under the weight of Eldraine's thumb for a while now. We can still peel a Helix or a Swamp to win this game next turn. A silly game. Oh, Blood Moon. Yeah, if you haven't watched much of my modern content, Aimbot, like, this has been, like, the average case. There's been a lot of really good games of Magic. Hey, Zill, thanks for 19 months. It's good to have you here. Yeah, I'm gonna board these Chalices out. I'm gonna get my Wellspring back. So, the original list I copied wasn't playing Wellspring. Okay, it even changes the border. I didn't catch that. Okay, I think I'll take these. These Teferis are fine. We were playing this deck. I'm gonna clip it to its own video on YouTube, EOT. We went over the state of the game and I gave thoughts on a few different things. It'll be like a 15 to 20 minute react video that I'll clip out. For people that aren't keeping up, they have officially canceled Pioneer Masters. So you can play colorless spells. Wellspring says you can't have the same cost, same symbol twice. So this has X twice. In my head, that was same double white, double blue, etc. Double X wasn't a thing. I didn't think like, oh, that's a thing that didn't work that way in my mind. Okay, I think I am fetching Forest, naming blue with this. We'll fetch basics proactively here, in case they can kill my Wellspring. So the mirror event on Magic Arena is an all access event. So you won't have to craft any of the cards that you're playing in it. You'll just have access to all of them. I mean, to be fair, I don't think you'd get DQ'd for the Wellspring Chalice. It's like easy to miss. Like I was completely blindsided by it. I think your opponent would call a judge and they just like wouldn't let you. I guess it depends on when it gets caught, right? Because if you try and draw the Wellspring after you Chalice, it's an easy fix. You're just like, hey, that doesn't work. I'd be pretty surprised you DQ'd someone for that, unless it happened multiple times. But like, I think that's a very easy. Oh, I missed this. Magic's complicated shit. It's got a lot going on. Yeah, it's probably a game loss. I'd be pretty surprised if it was a DQ though. Bezos is a hell of a matchmaker. Thanks for the 43 months, Waterfalls. Welcome back. Bolt me, baby. All right. Pierce me, daddy. Really don't have plays here other than jamming. good chance we're dead here. That's why the Prowess deck is so good. And I feel like I definitely like, our deck was capable of winning this match if I just hadn't boarded in Chalice. Like, we're 100% to win that second game if Chalice the Void just isn't in my deck, so my sideboard's just like 3 cards wrong. Yeah, Manamorphose, and part of the reason why the opponent's deck is so good is because Manamorphose and Mishra's Bauble are cards that just shouldn't be legal. They're like some of the last surviving. These cards are stupid and just still haven't been banned yet. At some point, Wizards will wake up and smell these cards shouldn't be free and get rid of the free cards. But you know, until then, this is where we are. I think Manamorphose is the generically more powerful card if Magic cards existed in a vacuum. However, given the context of the current format, especially with the addition of Dragon's Rage Chandler, I think Bauble is definitely the more offensive card in the format. Because Magic cards don't exist in a vacuum. So generically, I agree with you that that card is better, but I also don't think that generically matters at all. I think the only thing that matters is context, and context is everything. And contextually, that was a risky click, chat. I didn't zoom in. Well, that was rude. So, one of the things I will say, so I'd like to prefix this with saying I've been enjoying Modern a lot recently since coming back to playing some of it. But I think the biggest miss for me personally is that the lack of a competitive burn deck is, I think the Prowess deck creates less healthy play patterns than traditional burn does. Would be my TLDR. I think a traditional burn style deck being competitive is usually one of the signs of a really healthy, reasonable format. Yeah, Prowess is like an unfair burn deck is a good TLDR. So we're gonna Prismatic ending my Wrenn and Six, which is fine. So I'm gonna play another one. What happened to the old burn deck? It's just completely outclassed. The Prowess deck is just a busted version of it. More powerful version of it. Could be right to hold up Vanishing Verse this turn. So Prowess doesn't do the same thing. It just fills the aggressive deck role better. Is the TLDR. Alright, and now they just have actual factual counterspell and we can no longer win the game. I'm gonna concede when my Niv-Mizzet gets counterspelled here. We're definitely in garbage time at that point. So, I actually disagree with your assessment, Mana Symbol, that must answer cheap creatures are a problem for the format. I would make the argument that having cheap must answer cards like those that force players to be interactive are a good thing for the format because it forces the format in the direction of being interactive. So I think powerful cards that demand answers tend to be a net positive for the format. Because things like those existing make decks that play things like, you know, Lightning Bolt, Path to Exile, Helix. They make these types of decks better, and those kind of interactive mid-range decks are what you really want to push for in the format. I actually think I kind of want to Unmoored Ego here, and we just, like, take their hero of Dominarias, and then we, like, look at whatever their other threat is, and maybe run them out of threats with that. So I agree with you that Stoneforge and Ragavan are like, you gotta kill these things or you're gonna die, but I think putting that onus on the format is a net positive for the format. This is probably fine. It's like not exciting, but I think it's in the range of keepable. Or Thoughtseize deck too. Yeah. How's general been? It's been fine. Nothing to write home about. Fine is the descriptor I would use. Playable. It's gonna draw a card here. Just in case they like play a white source and prismatic strands this next turn. Want to get my value out of it. Or Noxious Grasp. Nice. I'm just attacking, right? Oh, you know what? If I attack, Archmage's Charm takes this. Am I willing to Veil of Summer and Archmage's Charm taking my 4/4? I don't think I am. I think I'm just passing. I think this Veil of Summer is like countering a counterspell in my Bring to Light. Although, if they do it at end of turn, am I just doing it anyways? Yeah, I lied. I'm a liar, chat. I should have attacked. I should have attacked! I didn't talk through the fact that they were probably going to do it at end of turn anyways. Someone had asked a second ago how General had been, and this is the first matchup we're playing where we're the beatdown, which makes General much better. Let's open on Bring to Light here. See what they do. Hey, Mick, thanks for the 44 months. Welcome back. I assume this isn't resolving, but how it's not resolving will dictate how we attack. Big sweeper energy. So, post board, my opponent's deck is a lot less likely to have sweepers in it. They want to bring in more go long grindy cards. And they can't know that we're going to have this every game. Joke's on you, my hand sucks. Yes, paper magic is not cheap. I guess they get to trade and then take my 4/4 now. And then we're kind of on empty. Yeah, I got the Wellspring. Depends on how good their last 2 cards are. They have a Castle of Interest in their mana base sitting there too. A little scary as the game goes along. Okay. Is your last card a brick? I don't think these decks play Mana Leak anymore. Might as well play around it. I will say at multiple points, our deck has felt like it has too much mana in it. Like almost every game we've played, we flooded out. And like Wrenn and Six plus Utopia Sprawl plus 25 lands. Like Wrenn and Six is mostly just more lands. I've kind of been whelmed by Wrenn and Six in general. I'm not sure that its ability to pick extra lands up has actually been useful in any of the games that we've played. Yeah, and the downtick hasn't really felt relevant in anything that we've done. Didn't it get banned somewhere? Is it banned in Legacy? I wouldn't be surprised me if it's banned in Legacy. Wasteland exists in Legacy. Oh, I could have done this during their draw step. So, 3 Snapcaster Mages, another Jace. And they don't have any creature land, so it's just like Teferi, Jace, Snapcaster are their only win conditions. So we'll shoot this, and we'll do this, and then we'll kill the Jace. I'll have to play the next one, and then we draw Vindicate, we can kill it. One of your finest Niv-Mizzets, please, deck. Just actually the worst feeling in Magic. Just getting Fate Sealed. I should have played the fetch land to play around that. With the Teferi in play, if we draw a Niv, we could get back in this game. Even just like a Vindicate to kill the Jace at the start. Alright, and now they have Cryptic Command and other stuff that's turned on, so we're dead. This has been fun. It feels like it's misbuilt a little bit, but it's generated good games of Magic the Gathering. We punted one of our 3 losses. Play the last one because the games have been good. Yeah, my thoughts are definitely thinking about Wellspring more. The fact that it Blood Moon insulates is kind of nice. I think I would definitely cut Wrenn and Six. This card's just been dog shit all day, and it helps contribute to the fact that like so it's easy to look at the games that like go we flooded a bunch, we're just unlucky, but like you also have to really consider the fact that like our deck is constructed in a way that's conducive to flooding. We have effectively 33 pieces of mana in this deck, which means you're gonna flood a lot. No, Cavern of Souls is not playable in our deck. Also, like, counterspell decks aren't super popular right now, so, like, it's pretty peak Twitch chat to, like, ask about counterspell after, or Cavern of Souls after we play against Esper Control, which is, like, pretty far from the norm in the format. Ooh, Wrenn and Six is gonna get to earn his keep. Especially considering half our copies of Niv-Mizzet are half our copies of Niv-Mizzet are what's it called? Bring to Light. Cavern of Souls is extra bad. You're not supposed to shock there. They could be the Zoo deck. And actually, I was supposed to go Temple Garden to name Red, probably, so that way I could cast this and fetch a tapped land next turn. My sequencing here is definitely bad. Yeah, my sequencing was atrocious here. This isn't a deck that's interested in pressuring people. Like, that's not what this deck is doing. I think if you want to play a deck that pressures people, like, this deck the opponent's playing is, like, fine. We played it the other day on stream, and it was okay. Yeah, we're playing like a mid-range control deck. It was a good TLDR. Oh, my colors of mana are all sorts of screwed up here. So I'm going to grab Overgrown Tomb, and then I'm going to play Utopia Sprawl and name Red. And then cast General. Thanks for the 13 months thumbs. Welcome back. Artwork on this Shardless Agent is gorgeous. The borderless cards look so good. Decent turn for the opponent. Maybe a little above average. So I can cast this, make a 4/4. I can plus to grab a land, fetch, gain 4, make a 1/1, make a 4/4. Yeah, strong turn of our own. Man, I will say the thing that makes me want to play an 80 card Yorion deck more than anything is the fact that we keep drawing this stupid Unmoored Ego. That is correct, Garcia, man. This is a 7/7 with first strike. Gosh, we're so dead. Kill me with Tribal Flames, Daddy. Teferi comes in because he turns off their Cascade. Vanishing Verse is real mediocre here. It's a Vindicate matchup. Probably not. So this is a keep. This fetches Blood Crypt. Been unimpressed with Vanishing Verse. I actually think Vanishing Verse is quite good. It's very, very reasonable against the Prowess deck, especially. Having access to just exile effects in general seems fine. I've only got 2 in the main deck, and I think that's a fine number to keep there. It's obviously bad here against my opponent's multicolor deck, but of all the critiques I have of this deck, Vanishing Verse I don't think is one of them. The Cascade aggro deck is fine. I think it's a little underpowered for the format in general. Like, the opponent's draw last game was definitely on the high end of draws their deck is capable of. We played their deck on stream last week, earlier this week, and it was fine. If you love the style of deck, it's probably playable, but it's not a deck that I would recommend based on power level alone. Yeah, Wrenn definitely making our hand playable here. This game's probably pretty over when we play Niv next turn. Yeah, I think if you like casting Cascade spells, it's more than fine. It's been really good, Lark. I think Modern is probably the best it's been in the last couple of years, at least for me personally, and I think it's currently the best format Magic has in terms of constructed. Which, it's a good time for it to be good, too, with everything starting to open back up in a lot of places. People looking to play some Magic in person at their game stores. This is pretty unlucky. We have to discard the hand size here. Unfortunate. We'll go Helix this. Play a tapped land. Attack for 6. Hold up and Abrupt Decay for the turn. Niv closes out very quickly here, being a 6/6 with evasion. By randomizes hands, do you mean the shuffling algorithm or like how it puts the cards in your actual hand? The shuffling algorithm. No, believe it or not, the shuffling algorithm isn't public. I'd assume that both applications use whatever built-in randomizing tool they have, though. There's really no reason to code your own randomizer from scratch when you're writing software. That's actually a really good question. Is there a TLDR on why Niv to Light decks seem to focus more on removal, while the historic Niv decks focus more on hand disruption? Yeah, it's the context of the formats in which they're being played. So you look at historic right now, one of the reasons why I'm kind of sour on historic, but I'm enjoying modern, is because the brainstorm and memory lapse inside of historic have pushed the format in a direction where board-centric decks aren't very good. Whereas in modern is very much about playing to the board right now. You need to be interactive with things that are played to the board. So which answers you want to be playing is always contextual based on the format that you're looking at. And the context of the formats dictate what you're looking to do. We've got lethal with the Lightning Helix here. I'm going to game 3 here. Maybe get a 2-3, get some of our pennies back. I'm happy with how I board it. Just go ahead and run it back. I think Gaia's Guile would be a sweet card for historic. I don't know that it'd be very good in the format's current state, but in general, having a flexible answer like this in the format would be nice. I like the design of this card in general. Very command-esque with a entwine kicker style extra. This hand's fine. Not amazing, but fine. I think we keep it. They have a dork on one on the play. It's a little scary. Mirage Swamp, thanks for the follow. We have an accelerant ourselves. Another land's not really what we're looking for, though. I'm gonna go ahead and put this on black, so that way we can fetch a shock land next turn tapped and still cast the Abrupt Decay. Howdy, aggro buns. Afternoon. We played a bunch of good games of Magic, Pinky. And honestly, like, I've talked about that a lot recently, too. one of the number one signs of like a good format is I can lose more than I win and still walk away feeling satisfied and like I played fun, interesting games. And like Modern's a great spot for that right now. Like we've had a number of leagues where we've gone 2-3 or 1-3 or 1-4 or whatever, and I've been like, yeah, that was fun. I'm glad I played. Whereas like Historic on the flip side, the other day I was just like, man, I'm fucking exhausted. I just don't want to play anymore. And I look back at my record and we actually had won more than we lost. And I was like, oh well, that's abysmal. We just like had a good run and just like had no desire to continue playing. Ugh. That's unfortunate. I think it was correct to name Black at the time, but not being able to cast Omnath here is a pretty big kick in the gut. Are we dead? Dead to Tribal Flames. Dead to Bolt, because I gotta fetch. I don't know. I think it's like, in order to set myself up for an Omnath this game, Mana Symbol, like, I think it was just wrong to set myself up for an Omnath. My opponent's playing an aggro deck and they're on the play, and I would have had to shock myself in order to set myself up for Omnath. An Omnath I didn't currently have in my hand. So, like, shocking myself to play an Omnath on 4 that I didn't already have, I think is a pretty nonsense. I don't have anything that I can bring to light 4 that gets me out of this, right? I guess we can Kaya's Guile, gain 4, draw a card. Or gain 4, make a spirit token. And then we're at 7, and we can either like block their thing, and then take 2 down to 5. Then we can like Omnath, play a land next turn. Yeah, that too in Megas. Like the 5K that I top 32. I top 32 the tournament, and I walked away from the tournament feeling bad, feeling like I didn't really enjoy my Magic for the day. Yeah, but like even before I drew the Omnath, it's still not the correct play, Mana Symbol. Like shocking myself. Like imagine I'm in this spot I'm in right now, but like I have an Omnath, but I'm at 1. Like another exalted creature would have killed me. It would have opened myself up to dying to a bunch more stuff. We might get to stabilize here with this Omnath. They appear to be flooding a little bit. So if I put this on here named green, I can go white, green, red, blue. Okay. And then they can force me to trade. They can attack with Shardless Agent next turn. They draw another brick here. We're in a great spot. Their last card could be a spell. They probably had lands last turn. If they attack with just one thing, I'm trading. Really? I feel like this attack is bad unless they're killing me somehow. They have Helix, sure. I feel like they're just supposed to attack with one thing and offer the trade. Like they push 2 damage, but Helix could have just gone to my face, right? I can't do this and this turn. Can I bring to light and still hold up Lightning Helix? Can I bring to light for 5 and still hold up Lightning Helix? I don't know that I can, right? Because this is on green. I could bring to light for Extinction Event. Yeah. Yeah, that's probably the line. Because I can bring to light for 4. Okay, and then I can play Wrenn and Six here. Alright, opponent flooded enough that we might scrape this one out. This Omnath should seal the deal. Hey, Steam Flogger, thanks for the 3 years. This is a very long league. It's about average. We had like a 20-minute... we had a 20-minute... What's it called in the middle? Where we looked at the state of the game update. Usually Moto Leagues take about 2 hours or so. We're currently at 2.5. And we can crack this fetch to gain 3 on their turn. It's garbage time. You don't have to go home, but you can't play here. We played Runeterra at the start of the stream this morning, which is why the viewer count's extra low today. Runeterra first destroys the viewer count for the day, which is why we probably won't do that first anymore. Runeterra's been good. It's just not particularly popular. At any rate, this deck was kind of sweet. Thoughts on things. First is that I don't know how I feel. I don't know after that one league if I have thoughts on Wellspring versus Yorion. I do think if I played Wellspring again, I definitely cut these chalices. I think if I played Wellspring again, 4 Wrenn and Six is too many. Like, I don't think I want to get rid of all of the Wrenn and Six, but I definitely was not happy to draw multiple Wrenn and Six most games. The -1 on Wrenn and Six just doesn't kill enough stuff in this format right now, it feels like. So this is basically just like +1 draw land, which means our deck effectively has 33 pieces of mana, and we lost a number of games in that set to basically just like having a good board state and then completely flooding out. But our deck is built in a way where flooding is something that's going to happen consistently. So I think revisiting how the deck is constructed to flood a little bit less often is something you want to do. I definitely like the mana base and the sprawl, so I think Wrenn and Six is kind of the weak link in that mix in terms of going down to 2 or 3 of these so you have a little bit more action in your deck. And honestly, I think one of the things we were looking for a lot was hoping to peel one of our big spells. So probably just turning this into the 4th Bring to Light or another Niv-Mizzet could be right. You could also, again, I'm not confident that sticking with Wellspring is right. You could be a Yorion build, at which point, you know, you play 4 Niv, you play 4 Bring, you play 4 Omnath, you play 4 Teferi main, you just like roll all these 2s and 3s up to 4s, and then you probably keep 4 Wrenn and Six in an 80 card deck, because 4 Wrenn and Six in an 80 card deck is similar to 3 Wrenn and Six in a 60 card deck. I think you should play the Unmoored Ego. I know it sucked to draw in a couple of those game ones, but honestly, I think if you're worried about drawing Ego, that's another reason to go to Yorion and 80 cards rather than getting rid of this. I think having access to this game one is going to get you some free wins and important combo matchups that will otherwise be difficult for you. So having access to that is something that I want, but I would like to draw it less often. So again, that's a point towards let's play 80 cards as opposed to 60. All right, any rate, that's going to wrap up for Magic for the day. We're going to go ahead and shift gears into playing some more Marvel Spider-Man, which has been a very, very good treat. Easily one of my favorite variety games I've played recently. Today's Friday, right? It is Friday. So I'm going to be off tomorrow on the 3rd. We hit the Guardian Tales promo goal, though, so Sunday on the 4th, I will be streaming. We're going to just do a full stream day as normal to kick off the week. Only I'm going to be in the owl costume and maybe a Godzilla costume. I think I've got that one in the garage somewhere. At a minimum, we're going to be in costume all day. Whether or not we'll rotate to the middle will remain to be seen. So we're gonna play some Spider-Man on the PlayStation. I'll be back with more Magic on Sunday. Thanks everybody for hanging out. And remember, if you're one of my wonderful subscribers that helps keep me employed here, take a second, pop in the Discord server. In the announcements channel, there's that sub-survey link. I'd love to get a few of your thoughts on the direction of the content here, which content you like, which content you don't like, so I know how to structure my stuff better for you all at home.